Hi there, it's Carl Irwin, the Common Magician, and I've got something interesting to share with you this evening. I've got a deck of cards here, a regular deck of cards, and this is all 52 cards, no duplicates. All of them are different. And we're going to select one at random. In order to do that, we'll just give it a quick shuffle, give it a spread, a couple dice here. I'll roll one. Stops right here on this card. We'll say that this is our selection. And this is kind of the situation where it doesn't matter if I know what it is. It is the Ace of Hearts. Good, easy one to remember. We'll just place the ace back into the deck, just like this. We'll give it a shuffle to lose it. Hopefully we'll give it a good shuffle to lose it. Not a sloppy-looking piece of garbage shuffle like that one was. And we'll come back to that in a minute. I've got these dice, as I said. These are six-sided dice, and it's very important you understand they are regular six-sided dice. They're not loaded. They're not toppers. If I roll them again and again, you'll see that they come up different every time. I've got a 32 or 23. 32 or 23. In fact, we'll give some more opportunity to this. We have 3-2 or 2-3. Heads is 32, tails is 23. Tails is 23. So that's what we're looking at. 23 is the number that we've rolled. We want to shuffle these cards and give them the best shuffle that we can. So we'll give it a table wash. As I'm doing this right now, you're thinking, is he going to show this, how to do this? Is he going to explain this? We'll give it a shuffle. Cards are changing positions from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, from the inside out and outside in. And just to be very transparent, we'll give it a square up with the faces facing out. We'll give this a couple of shuffles. And then we will give it a cut. So, 23, shuffled deck, free selection. Can't be more fair. Okay, let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is 23. This is 23. But I'll tell you what, I want to give you a chance to be the hero and really nail this. You know that this is 23 right here. If I shuffle this with a couple of other cards, right? So you're losing track of where things are at. Now you don't know which one is which. We're pretty sure it's one of these. That was the guess. In fact, we'll demonstrate over here. It's none of these. We know it's not in that pile. Just slide away any two. Slide away any two. We'll say slide away that one. Slide away, we'll say this one here. Slide them away. That leaves us with one. Just to check, see what we got. We already know what the outcome is, don't we? Ace of Hearts. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. And this came out very well for this demonstration and this tutorial. This is a tutorial. We're actually going to talk about this. What are we teaching here? I'm not teaching equivoque. We've already taught that a million times. Equivoque is definitely a part of this. In order for equivoque to work, I have to know what the card is. Visually, I got to know where it's at. So let's deal with that first. Now, this is kind of the cheap and easy thing to expose here and to teach. This is not necessarily how I do these tricks on the many videos you see me do on here and on Instagram where I do this kind of stuff. I'm going to talk about kind of the big idea, but not all the little things. This is something a little different than what I've been doing. But I have to know which card it is. In this case, we're dealing with a crimp. We're dealing with a crimp. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about the big issue here in a moment. So card is selected. I got to know where it's at for two reasons. I have to get control of it, and then I have to know when I'm coming up to it. And that's going to be important for confirmation at the end. Okay, so I have here the 9 of diamonds. When I crimp this, I'm going to put it back into the deck from the front, riffle down about halfway, slide it in, and as I push it back, I'm going to grab the outer right-hand corner and I'm going to bend it almost 180, so it's pointing back at me right across the end of the deck. So I slide it in, I bend it up, I bend it on my knuckle right here. Now, from the front, this looks like just a squaring motion pushing the card in. It doesn't even look like I'm gripping the card anymore at this point, but I'm actually holding a pretty stark bend in that corner. So I bend it quickly, briskly, push it in, and then I immediately shuffle. Now, when I shuffle, I don't want to shuffle to half so it shows down the bottom. I shuffle shy, and then I riffle these freely together. Now, because my crimp is in this back corner, I can do this as many times as I want. It's not going to hurt it. The crimp's not going to come out. I could even shuffle probably at that crimp, but I want it in the back. I don't want it to be seen in the squaring motion. But if I look back here at the back side, I can see exactly where my card is at, and I'm going to need to know that in a minute. So I've shuffled it in. Now we get to the issue, okay, the real issue. This is a tutorial on estimation. This is about estimation, okay? Estimation need not be a highbrow, high-level issue. Estimation is an accessible method. I know it's accessible because there are tricks out there that deal with estimation that are very accessible. So Marlowe Estimation Aces is a very accessible trick, very accessible routine that uses the principle of estimation. I'm actually going to cover that here in just a moment. Back when I started this channel, that was one of the early videos I did, was a treatment of Marlowe's Estimation Aces. And the reason why I did the tutorial was to avoid the part of it that was hard, and that was the Pharaoh shuffle, right? Trying to get a Pharaoh shuffle where you get separation between the aces, single card separation, and then getting the right number of cards on top of it. And what I dealt with in that tutorial was a Klondike shuffle. So you're doing this, you're skinning the deck top and bottom to create the scenario that you need, rather than doing a Pharaoh shuffle. That was what that was about. But estimation, the estimation part of it is the easy part of the trick. The setup's the hard part, right? Why is it easy? Why is it easy? Well, I'll show you why here in a moment. Before we get to that, there'll be a number selection. Now, there is a part of this routine that matters, and that is the shuffling. Just know that if you have a crimped card, you can shuffle it any way that you want. You will always be able to find it. I don't have to control this card in a wash. The wash is not the trick. The wash is completely fair, right? In this iteration, the wash is not the trick. A wash can be part of the method, dealing with a wash or falsifying a wash or tracking in a wash or whatever, but not here. The wash is not the trick. The wash is fair. The crimp is the method in this case. I have to be able to identify that card. So assume that we wash the cards and the card is now somewhere in the deck. When I come back to the deck, I pick it up after the square and I just quickly look and see if the crimp shows up. And I can see it right there, and I know it's slightly lower than half. This is kind of where estimation comes in. We're not going to use it quite yet. But I can try to break right there if it's near half, and now I have it on the top, and I can just riffle it to the top. I close up the spread, and now I'm ready to do the estimation part. The estimation is not in the reveal, as it is with Marlowe Estimation Aces. The estimation is in the setup. I'm going to cut an estimated amount to get it to the number I need to. This seems like it's really, really hard, but it need not be, because all you need is enough ounce for a margin of error, so that if you error, it's still a great trick. In fact, there's a sense in which it can be even a better trick in a couple of ways, which we'll talk about here in a minute, because there's many ways that this can go. You can be short a margin, you can be long a margin, you can be dead on. You can be short a very small margin, you can be long a very small margin, or you can be dead on. You have some opportunity in there. The margin's never going to be very big. If you're doing your estimation well, and it's not hard to do estimation this well, the margin will be very, very tight. Okay, so let's talk about this in a moment. I'm just going to, we'll get rid of our crimp here for a moment. We'll come back to that. Let's talk about Marlowe estimation aces really quick, because it matters to understand the principle that we're after. So we need our aces, and we're not going to talk about the whole trick, just the part that matters as a kind of an illustration of the point. For estimation aces, you need to have your aces, you need to have an indifferent card in between each ace. And then you need to have about 15 or 16 cards on top. We'll say it's 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So usually it's 16 because it's, we'll make it 16. Usually it's 16 because, as I recall, I haven't done that trick in a long time. I think it's 8 that you put on top and then you faro, which makes it 16 plus the aces plus 1 indifferent in between. So we'll say 16 plus the aces that you have here on the bottom. So 16 cards, ace, indifferent, ace, indifferent, ace, indifferent. There we go, indifferent ace. And then this sits on top. Now, before I join these together, I'll keep them jogged, and I just want you to note the difference between them. I'll put this in a point of contrast here. Put some contrast behind it. So you can see that you have slightly less than half above, slightly more than half below. All I need to do is cut slightly less than half. And that seems like I'm hitting a target, but look at what we have to work with. I can cut in this margin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 cards at which I can cut. I can cut below this card, or I can cut above this card. So we have what? 6 cards there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing an ace. It's actually more than that. Sorry. There, 8 cards. I need to cut below this card or above this card, but nowhere else. And that is 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th one is up there. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. Approximately 8 cards, actually 7. And if you look at that in comparison to the rest of the deck, look at how much it takes away from the upper pack. The remaining upper pack is like 1/3 of the deck to 1/4. That's how much 7 cards is. 7 cards is a massive target. It's a massive target to hit. And if I'm aiming for like the middle of that, my margin of error is +3 or 4 on either side. So thinking about statistics, right? Hitting shy of half, I have a margin of error of 3 to 4 one way or the other. That's a total of 8. So statistics can be off, like polling statistics can be off by a margin of error. That margin of error is plus or minus. It's a composite of that plus itself in total. The target's really big, right, to be off. That's why this is easy. That's why this is so easy, right? So all I need to do is cut shy of half. Not very shy of half, just kind of shy of half, right? If I cut kind of shy of half, I'm either going to hit an ace here, or I'm going to hit an ace there. And I hit an ace there. So I show it, and I say, now if I was 1 shy, or if I was 1 more, I would have been wrong. And you know the drill. This goes down on top. The indifferent card from the bottom goes on top of that, which kind of resets my scenario. Again, I cut shy of half, right? And I show. It's either going to be here or it's going to be there. I hit it here. I say, look, if I was 1 less or 1 more, I would have missed. And I do this again. And then all I need to do is then cut shy again, just shy of half, and I show. and I hit it again, right? The margin is so large on this. Even when I get down to the third card, it's still big enough. And then there's outs for the last one. You can either take those or you can try to get lucky on it, right? Again, just cutting shy of half, and then you often hit the card. You either will hit it here or you'll hit it there. So you can just see how big the target in the margin of error is if I know I'm cutting shy of half. Why is that useful? Well, it's easy to cut half. It's easy to judge half. It's not, it's not a very big measurement. It's not like you're trying to find 6 inches in a foot. You're just trying to find half of 3/4 of an inch maybe, okay, in the deck. So whenever I cut half, if I cut half of the deck as if I'm doing a faro, table faro, and I set these side by side, I know instantly how far I'm off. I'm off by 1. I pulled 1 more off than what I should have. Instead of having 26, I have 27 cards over here, leaving me with 25, right? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, like I said. So this is very easy to see, right? I'm trying to go for half and I was off by 1. I'm as likely to get exactly right or be off by 1 every time when I know I'm cutting half. What we're dealing with is the position of 26 and 27 and working away from that, right? Within a margin of error plus 4 on either side of wherever we cut. That's how this is going to work, okay? So let's take us back to where we left off. 6 of spades is going to be our card. We are crimped. We got our card controlled to the top out of a out of a table wash, and then some riffle shuffling, which I've been able to control it there. And then I need to do my cut. Let's work with some numbers and think about this. Think this through. Some numbers are better than others. 24 is within a good margin. I think if you're dealing with like lower 20s up through the mid 30s, you're dealing with kind of the same distance away from the middle, right? Anything outside of that margin, you're having to math it up a little bit more in your head, okay? But either side of half is relatively easy to target and get within the margin of error for one way or the other. This can be justified simply if you're like soliciting a number. First of all, if you're doing dice, it's really easy to hit that. You roll and you say, these are completely normal dice, right? Now I just hit mid-35, mid-30s. I would roll it and I would say, and we have here 35. 53 is not an option. There's only 52 cards in the deck. I said, we have 35, and I go with that. If I get something that's junk that I can't use, 34 I could use. 35 again. Whoops. 31, maybe I could use. 13, that's kind of shy. I could say now if I roll this again, you see that they change, right? You can always do that with dice. 25, now I'm within range. 26, 27 is the break. If I aim for just shy of half, I'm going to hit this, right? For 25, actually just shy meaning a little more than half. I'll be cutting to the 25th position. Okay, so this is the margin that you're working with. So if using dice, you have that opportunity to hit something close to what you want. Now, we'll experiment with wider margins here before we're done with this, but this is kind of the beginning of it. Let's say 25. Okay, so 25 is what we're going for. I've got my known card at the top. It is crimped so that I can identify it later. I've just gotten it here so no one can see the crimp because I just squared up. Now I'm going to go for the cut. I'm going to cut just more than half. Okay, just more than half, because what I'm going for is less than half on the top. Okay, so if I cut just a little bit more than half, and I put it down, I can see I have more than half, and then I'm putting just less than half on top. I should be this side of half, hopefully close to 25. I'm not trying to cut it to 25. I'm trying to cut less than half, just less than half. Okay, so just more than half off to get it just less than half on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And I know that I got it right. I have my card here at 25, 6 of spades. Okay, so you can see my margin of error, 4 on either side, really is quite useful. Now, what if this was wrong? What if it was wrong? What if it was off by as much as 4? What if I was long by 4? Well, I would get down to the last card, 25, and I would be able to spread and see crimp plus 3. And like in the example, I would say, this is 25, but I want to give you some opportunity. I'm just going to take 4 cards off, and now I equivocate out of 4. Very simple, right? Equivocate out of 4. This is within my margin. This is kind of the extent of my margin. Let's say it's even worse. Let's say it's 5. Okay, I can still equivocate out of 5. There's ways to get down from there. Now I know it's the bottom one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run it to the top, right? And I have it at the top, and then I'm going to run it back to the bottom again. And they don't know where it's at, okay? I could run a couple and put them back. I still have it at the bottom. My card, 6 of spades, is at the bottom. I've worked my crimp out at this point because now I know where it's at. I don't need to have that crimp anymore. Now I have 5 cards spread out, and I can equivocate out of this pretty simply. I want to get this down to like 3 so I can do a very clean equivocate. What I like to do is I say, go ahead and put your hand, one hand on any 2 cards. Now this is my target, sitting over here. They put their hand on any 2. Let's say they go for the 1. I say, great, now I'm down to 50-50. They slide those away, I say push one back. And if they push back the right one, I take it. If they push back the wrong one, I take it. If they go here, and it's not one of them, I say, you slide those away. Now I'm down to 3. So I take these and I can just throw those aside. Okay, I know this is the one right here. Now, when you're doing equivocate and you're doing geographic change this way or that way, usually you want to go the opposite direction. So now I say, why don't you push 2 towards me, any 2, right? So you push 2 towards me, that's it. And then I can get rid of this one here. And I say, just slide 1 back. And if they slide this one back, that's the one they choose. If they slide this one back, that's good. I said, you left me with 1, right? So I knew where it was at, right? But I wanted to see if you know where it's at. And there it is. So I want you to think about this as an out for a moment. There's a tendency to think in Magic that if I have to resort to an out, especially if I have to resort to something like this, that it depreciates the trick. The trick is not as good. That's not true. There are tricks that are entirely built on just equivocate like that. Really good ones too. And there's a little bit more window dressing to them, right, so that the equivocate is kind of hidden. But if you think about it, we've had free selections, we've had this table wash thing, we had a choice of a number, and then we got down to this thing, and now I'm giving them choice in the end. I could have just revealed it there, but now I'm saying, let's see if you can do it. The trick is not suffering from doing this. The trick is actually better. It's actually improving by having to do the out. It really is, okay? What are some other outs? Let's say that I am shy on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Let's say it was in 24. We'll crimp that sucker again. 24 and 25. Here's what I do. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. Right, and then I'm getting down to my crimped card, which is in 24. So I have, what is this? 22, 23. I slow down because I see it. Now this is 24 and 25. I want to try something though. I know that it's right, but I want to know if you know it's right. I could do my equivocate there, or if it was even further up than that, as many as 5 away. Which is a big target. I mean, that's like a big mistake, but you can still work with it. But let's say it's only 1 away. Let's say it's 24. Think about this for a minute. 22, 23. This is 24 right here. We said 25. I'm going to set this aside for a moment. 24. Now this is 25. This is what you selected. Now I happen to know this didn't work out right. I'm pretty sure that it's one shy. I'm pretty sure. In fact, if we look down here, you can see we don't see it anywhere. This is 24, one shy of what you said. And that's where we find it. This is not wrong. It is wrong. It's wrong. Okay. There's two types of wrong. There's I messed up the trick wrong. And then there's what I like to refer to as Chan Canasta wrong. Okay. This is Chan Canasta wrong. It is wrong, but I'm calling it ahead. I'm drawing attention to the fact that there's an error. I'm pointing out the discrepancy. It's off by 1 in the wrong direction. Okay? You might even say it's David Berglas wrong, because he would do this sometimes, right? Those two figures are they do intersect in this kind of magic, this live television publicity stunt, chance of failure kind of presentation, right? And often for Canasta, things didn't go exactly the way he said they would. But the trick is, how do you manage that? Can you point it out and make a deal out of it, right? Say, unfortunately, right, this is 24. I don't think it's at 25. I don't think it's down here either. We know it's not over here. I think it's actually at 24. Let's take a look and see. There it is. Chan Canasta wrong is all right. And I don't mean Chan Canasta wrong is all right. I mean Chan Canasta wrong is all right. Okay? There's an element to calling something wrong before the revelation that really increases the value. Mentalists understand this, right? The occasional miss lumped in with a bunch of hits, right? And some people kind of poo-poo that idea, but it's a really valid point, right? Chan Canasta wrong is all right. So those are a few different outs for hitting the margin wrong. Let's talk about some more extreme numbers though, okay? So let's say 9 of hearts, and we will crimp this so that we can know where it's at. Okay, you got to know where you're going. You got to know where, you have to be able to see it to do this kind of estimation, because you got to know if you have to use an out or not. So we have equivoque or Chan Canasta wrong. Those are our possibilities for outs. Or dead on. And by the way, dead on can be at the number or the next card. So you even have an out there. Just keep that in mind. If it's one long, you can count off the numbers and say we cut off 27 and then we find that. It's just important that you word it that way. So we cut off 27 and here we find it and do the revelation right away. Okay, and as confidently, and here we find it. Okay, so that's another out. That's 3 outs. Equivocate out up to like 5 cards. You could do that, right? Using geographic location and selection by hand and whatever. Chan Canasta wrong, which is all right. And then 1 extra is 3 outs. Let's look at some other possibilities for numbers here. So 11, right? What would this look like? I would need to get 10 cards on top of this card, right? So I already know what 8 looks like. Now this is extreme. Now if I do this cut, this is one of the reasons why this doesn't really work in estimation, a number this low, is because now the method is apparent, right? If I do this, the method becomes apparent. So I cut these off. I don't know if I got it right or not. I think I'm long on this, but let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We cut off 11 and we find, right? So this is our, that's it. That's the one long estimation. You see the margin of error? The margin of error in 11 cards is almost half of those cards. That's how big, right? 11 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're looking at 3 cards more than the margin of error plus or minus. Do you understand this concept? What we're going for in estimation? As long as you have outs for plus or minus 4, any number is really game. Okay, you just have to think in reverse. You have to think about what's remaining in the deck versus what's going on top. Let's try another number. 44. Okay, 44 is quite long. So think the distance away from 26. 36 is 10 more, right? And then it's another almost as many. So look at 20 more cards. You're looking at leaving, you know, a chunk of cards on the bottom about this size, okay? Or rather cutting that much on top to the top of the deck. So what we want to do is that was meaning 44 deep. So what we want to do is we want to cut a really shallow kind of group to see if we can get this down to 44. So we'll cut a shallow group here. See if we get 44. Again, remember the margin, plus or minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. This is big. 41, 42, 43, 44. So I really overestimated, right, on that one. This is why these big numbers aren't very good. So what do I have to work with? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 cards to do my equivoque from. So I don't know. If I really had to deal with this, you could probably do it. You would see your crimp coming and say, you know what, I've got these remaining cards here. I want to give you an option really to see if it comes out right. You could pair them up. Now I have 4, right? I've got hit, misses. Now I can say point to any 2, right? These 2, great. We'll keep those. Why don't you just slide one group towards me, right? Right. Why don't you slide one away, right? And you slide one away. So you're losing me that one. So you have some options. That's a really big margin. I think I can do better at that though. Think about big numbers like that. Probably anything 40. Think about it coming from the other direction, like what's minus to 52. So you're halfway there, right? So you're looking at a much smaller margin of cards to hit that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and bang. Okay, so, you know, there's a little bit of practice on the fringe possibilities. But I say avoid the fringe possibilities. Ask for a number between 20 to 40. 40's pushing it out on the end. You kind of have to, I think, go for a round number 20 to 40, even though 40 is further on the margin to the bottom of the deck. Because to say 20 to 35 is suspicious. It's kind of like, that's kind of a weird range, right? I guess you could say somewhere in the middle, right, out of 52, 20 to 35, something like that. You could justify it. Let's try another number. Again, going for plus or minus 4, trying to work out the math in the head and estimating properly. That's huge. 45, we just did that. 44. 36. So 36 is kind of out on the edge of where we want to be. So what we're looking to do is to get 36 cards on top. We're going to cut shy. We're cutting shy, you know, a group about like that. And we'll see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. This is 36, 37, 38. I'm within my margin. I've got 3 cards I can work with to hit that. What are some other possibilities? Let's say you're off by 1. Okay, what could you do? You could second deal the right one, right? Let's say I did 36 and it's not the next. Remember, being off by 1 means off by 2, because I could go off by 1 long means off by 2. I could deal it out and say, and this is where it leaves us. Cut 36 cards, this is where it leaves us. I could simply just show the second card out there, push it out, and then second deal off, right? or top change it or something like that. Another possibility is to show, and this is where it leaves us, which is, oh, well, that's not the right card. You didn't say the Jack of Clubs? No, what was it? What was the card you said? It was the, right, well, that was terrible because I'm not looking at it. It was the, you do shapeshifter kind of thing. You could, there's revelations you can do off by one. You could do a double lift, double turnover, right? You show it, you grab your brake here, you throw it back on top, and then you turn it and you show it. You have options for that, being off by 2 plus. That leaves you out of equivoque, right? That's another option. So you've got equivoque, off by 1 long, cut off that number and there it is. Chan canasta wrong, call it off by just 1 or 2, one way or the other. And then you have double lift, double turnover, shapeshifter, show wrong, top change, right? One shy bottom deal or second deal. These are a whole bunch of other outs that you can use, right? You can use to get it correct. So those are the options. Let's do another one. Why not? I have to make up for my big faux pas on 44, which I was still able to deal with, right? Thinking on the fly. So let's say 34. I want to get one in the 20s. I want to get one in low, because we haven't had that yet. Low 20s, right? So if I can just get one to roll 2. 24. Let's go even lower than that. 21. Okay, so 21 cards. Now, I know approximately what 20 looks like, right? I kind of know what 10 and 10 looks like. So let's see if we hit 20 with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm within margin, right? I'm shy by 2. So I can do this to say, and I go into my whatever I want to do, okay? So I could have been that, or I could have been even 1 more, or I could have been 4 more. So you see where estimation gets you. Your estimation doesn't have to be perfect, but if you have outs, it gives you the chance to be wrong. It gives you the opportunity to be wrong, which gives you the opportunity to be right. If you have the opportunity to be wrong and save face on it, then that means that you have the opportunity to be right. And be amazing, okay? Either way, you're amazing because you have it all worked out. So that's my lecture on estimation. Another skill that's worth doing. Some people work hours and hours on end estimating, cards. Lifting up 1. Can you lift up 2? Right? And there's 3. Can you lift up 8? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Can you lift, trying to get amounts and get as close as you can to it and be accurate. Some people spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on this. I recommend practicing a specific number, like 18. Can you always cut 18 or get very close to 18, right? Is that something you can hit? I don't think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. What does 18 feel like? 18 feels like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I keep hitting 7. If you're hitting something over and over again, practice that one. Keep doing that one, right? Whatever it is. I think it's worth to pick a number and practice that and see how close you can get and get really good at doing it. And then you can always, that can be your go-to number. You cut that off, it leaves with how many to get to that top number. And then you can always call something that you're cutting into from the top. Another thing that's worth practicing is just cutting dead center, right? So this is good for just table pharaohs anyway. And when you cut dead center, I alluded to this earlier, is that I can set and I automatically have a reference. I know I'm too shy. I know I'm too shy, right? This is not 26. I think it's 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, okay? You can see the difference very quickly when these sit next to each other. So, you know, work on cutting dead center and then gauging how far off you are, right? That can be very helpful because then you can call it, right? This is dead on. This is 27, 20, or 26, 26. So practice cutting center because that's useful. You do a shuffle sequence, you have your crimp on top. If I know that I'm cutting a dead center, I'm getting close, I know what this is going to be whenever I put it down. 26. I can always call that right. People don't know what dead center is. Magicians do, but people don't. They don't know that when you're cutting that you're able to estimate the center, and you're even able to verify it because the deck is its own measurement. Half to half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26. There it is. Okay, so 26 on top, and then that was a card. So this is you know, these are tactics to approach estimation, going over that concept from Marlowe estimation, the concept of a target being much wider than you think, right? 4 plus or minus 4 is 8. It's a huge margin, and you can be wrong one way or the other, and it gives you so many opportunities to be wrong. Equivoque, one long, Chan Canasta wrong, which is I love that. I love calling something wrong, off by 1, off by 2. Off by 2 is a margin of 4 one way or the other. It's actually a margin of 5, including the hit, right? That's a great opportunity. Off by 2, one way or the other. Chan Canasta wrong, great. Double lift, double turnover, second deal, bottom deal to discard one, and then hit. Color change, top change, shapeshifter, all these other kinds of changes that you can do with an adjacent card. So all kinds of opportunity to allow you to do estimation, be wrong at it, and still be right. That's my shtick. Okay, so how long was this? 46 minutes on that. You know, my goal, I mentioned this a long time ago when I started this channel. One of the features of this channel is being long-winded and talking long and redundantly about things, because people look at that number and they say, I'm not listening to this guy. And when they do that, it means they miss out on good stuff like this, right? There's a sense in which I kind of want this channel to be what it is. I don't ask for subscribers. I don't ask for, smash that like button and hit the subscribe. I don't do that, because there's kind of an advantage for this being low key. I like growth, I like getting bigger, but if this is low key, it means that I can be more open about some of these concepts and applying things that are a little bit deeper that professional magicians spend a lot of time on. And I can say, you know what, this is accessible to regular folks. This can be accessible to common magicians like you and me that just do things with family and you don't have a lot of time to spend on it. Practicing just a couple of simple techniques and having some strategy for keeping your estimation within a good window of margin of error and having outs so that you can take the risk and be right sometimes. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense to you. Good luck with that. I hope you appreciate this one. Good luck with that. Happy magicking.